So how do you build genuine, powerful business connections when you're just dropped into a virtual room full of strangers? We constantly hear that networking needs to be authentic, be ourselves. But here's the paradox, right? How can you possibly have a really rigid meeting format and still get that kind of personal authenticity? Isn't, like, forcing people to be human a bit weird?
That really is the essential puzzle we're tackling today. If networking is just free-form chatting, it can become a huge time sink.
Yeah, totally unproductive sometimes.
But if it's too rigid, it feels like a sales pitch treadmill, and nobody likes that.
Right.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into the source material from a group called Dynamite Networking. We're going to analyze a specific format they designed precisely for, quote, authentic human connection.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Our mission here is to figure out how this group managed to balance its really focused global roster of professionals. I mean, many of them making some intensely high-stakes business claims with their core mission, their stated mission.
Well, they lay their philosophy out pretty clearly. Networking done differently. And their core principle, they say, is prioritizing meeting the human before the business professional on purpose.
On purpose. I like that emphasis.
Yeah. And to achieve this, they use a structure that is, well, almost militantly specific. It's very defined.
And the mechanics are really the foundation here, aren't they? The whole meeting is defined by these specific timed rounds.
Exactly. You've got round 1, the icebreaker. Supposedly 10 seconds. We'll see about that later. Then round 2, the actual introductions, just a tight 45 seconds. This is really where the business pitch has to land.
45 seconds isn't much time at all.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Then round 3 is for referrals, another super quick 10 seconds. That's followed by a round for feedback and testimonials. And then round 5, which could be breakout rooms or just the meeting ending.
Okay, but you mentioned something else.
Ah, yes. And you absolutely have to pay attention to 2 non-negotiables that I think really set this group apart. First, everyone meets everyone. No hiding. And second, and this is key to that sort of pressure cooker feel, everyone speaks in all rounds. There's zero possibility of just blending into the background. If you show up, you are participating and you are pitching.
That level of required participation immediately raises the stakes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But let's look at the roster, because the first thing that jumps out, really, is the sheer global scope and professional diversity in this virtual room.
Yeah.
This isn't your local Chamber of Commerce meeting.
No, definitely not. It's like an instant global marketplace operating across, multiple time zones. We see Sarah Magdalena Goldberger joining from Zurich, Switzerland. She's a chief AI officer working on a governance, risk, and compliance startup, GRC.
Right, GRC. That's high-level stuff, making sure AI is safe and legal.
Precisely. Then you pivot, like halfway across the world to Africa, where Ivana Kinyi is tuning in from Kenya. She offers services as a virtual assistant.
Okay, VA services.
Yeah.
Very different.
Very different. Then shift back over the Atlantic, and you find Donna Dahl in Calgary, Canada. She's an author and also a chief empowerment coach. It's just a massive geographical reach, which creates, maximum potential for connections.
And the U.S. group reinforces that variety, too. You've got Susan Terwilliger, a financial advisor based across New York and Vermont, and Deborah Laurel in Wisconsin, who's a management trainer specializing in taking, I love this phrase, lackluster leaders legendary.
That's a good line.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have strategic financial planning sitting right next to high-level leadership development. It's quite a mix.
So if we break down the professional expertise in the room, it really is a strategic cross-section of the modern economy. On the sort of cutting edge of tech and strategy, you have Rajiv Jadhav, an AI and PR expert based in NYC, and John Balawat, who runs a private label web design and development shop specifically for agencies. So very niche there.
Very niche. And then you transition to high-performance psychology and personal growth. You see Dr. Dan Schaefer, who's a fractional psychological strategist for business and sports, basically someone dealing with peak performance mindset.
Right, optimizing performance.
And Joel Elfman, who is a body-mind hypnotist and coach. They're selling transformation, not just a product or service.
That's a good way to put it. And crucially, the essential foundation of sales and service professionals are there too. Jim Mills, the founder of Encompass Background Screening Solutions, and it's noted he's a disabled Navy veteran-owned business.
Important detail.
Jeanette Detheridge, who focuses on gift-giving services, and also Mary Kay, and Faith Thomases, an expert in brand strategy, copywriting, and name development.
This variety is really significant because strategically, a wider range of roles naturally encourages varied asks and gives.
Makes sense.
If the room was, say, all financial advisors, the utility would be almost zero, right?
Hmm.
But here, a hypnotist might connect with a Swiss GRC expert, or a background screener could meet a brand strategist. This diversity is, I think, the necessary ingredient for maximizing that networking potential.
So if the diversity is the necessary ingredient, let's talk about the specific recipe. Section 2, where that 45-second clock starts ticking. This brief window requires 3 specific, highly structured components: a success story, your ask, and your give. What does this transactional currency actually look like in practice?
Yeah, the ask and the give structure is really the core mechanism of the meeting. It forces immediate, visible reciprocity. For you, the listener, the key is understanding that they are literally exchanging networking currency in real time. For example, Joel Elfman, the body-mind hypnotist, he had a very clear exchange. His ask was specific, looking to connect to podcasters.
Okay.
His give, sharing his extensive network. It's a clean, strategic trade, very straightforward.
Then you see the kind of hyper-targeting that happens under that time pressure. Rajiv Jadhav, the AI and PR expert, he didn't just ask for generic introductions. He wanted to meet 7-figure coaches and consultants who were specifically women or people of color.
Wow, that's specific.
That's specific. That level of demographic focus in just 45 seconds demonstrates, well, absolute clarity about his business needs.
Yeah.
No messing around.
Right. And Donna Dahl, the author and coach, she demonstrates targeting by, like, a specific pain point. Her ask was looking for the person who has been thinking of writing a book about their wisdom and does not know where to start.
So she's looking for someone right at that specific moment of need.
Exactly. Someone at that critical juncture of readiness and confusion. She solves a very specific entry-level problem for potential authors.
And then there's Jeanette Deatherage, who seemed to decide to cast a really wide net, just maximizing her 45 seconds to cover multiple verticals. Her asks were super varied, looking for realtors, financial planners, moms of teens, women over 40 who want to look younger.
She fit all that in.
All that, and she added she wanted to go on a podcast. That's basically a master class in aggressive vertical marketing in under a minute.
That is impressive efficiency. But here is where the critical tension really comes into play and where the source material reveals the high-stakes environment simmering just underneath that friendly exterior. We absolutely have to analyze the business propositions being made here. Rajiv Jadhav's claims, in particular, are just jaw-dropping in their boldness.
Absolutely. When he stepped up, he wasn't just introducing himself. He was essentially offering a performance guarantee, wasn't he?
Precisely. His first claim was guaranteeing $50,000 in monthly sales with just $1,000 per month ad spend.
Wait, $50,000 guaranteed monthly sales on a $1,000 ad spend.
That's the claim, and promising a guaranteed 2x to 5x ROI in the very first month. Now think about that context. You are making this kind of aggressive, financially binding proposition in a room where maybe 5 minutes earlier you were talking about your favorite kind of chocolate.
That is a massive claim to drop on a group that's supposed to be relaxed and focused on human connection. I mean, if those numbers aren't met, doesn't the relationship built on that human foundation just instantly disintegrate?
It certainly puts it under immense pressure. And he doubled down on the impact. He also offered the use of ChatGPT to, quote, say you're the best, to apparently 5x your business in 60 days.
5 times business in 60 days using ChatGPT.
Again, that's the claim. These claims are not subtle. They're not modest. They demonstrate the seriousness, the competitiveness, and the high-impact expectations being set. It proves that while the frame might be friendly, the content is intensely commercial and, frankly, high pressure.
That transition leads us perfectly, actually, to the dynamics of the icebreaker, Section 3. This is where that human before business philosophy is truly tested. And arguably, it failed its first test, the test of adhering to the rules. Round 1 was supposed to be 10 seconds. In reality, it turned into a 12-minute discussion.
12 minutes. On chocolate. The clock apparently ran from about 10:15 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. The contrast is almost bizarre, isn't it? You have this hyper-efficient 45-second pitch structure immediately following a drawn-out, entirely personal conversation about candy preferences.
But the discussion was so granular. It wasn't just, oh, I like chocolate. We had the dark chocolate enthusiast being incredibly specific, Joel wanting a Good, strong dark chocolate. Sarah naming Galler dark chocolate with Earl Grey specifically.
Earl Grey. Okay, that's specific.
Right. And Deborah preferring dark chocolate with raspberry or almonds. They were genuinely bonding over these, like, sophisticated palettes.
Then you saw the global nature reflected in the preferences, too. Rajiv was very particular, listing Lindt, German chocolate, and demanding the UK version of Cadbury Fruit and Nut and the UK version of Kit Kat. It's a subtle nod to international sourcing, maybe some nostalgia there.
Yeah, probably. And Yvonne mentioned the elegant Ferrero Rocher.
Classic choice.
And the American classics kind of grounded the conversation, too. Faith preferring plain old Hershey. Jeanette loving the Heath Bar, specifically from South Florida. And another participant listing Kit Kats, Peanut Butter Cups, and Three Musketeers. Even Nick Rontanini had a personal reason for his choice, noting Hershey's was the best option for him because of allergies.
See, what's fascinating here, and why those 12 minutes were arguably worth it for their goal, is the injection of personality and humor. This is the source material basically confirming their success, at least in that moment, at being human. We see Salim Albatar's self-deprecating humor, mentioning Lion chocolate because I'm a Leo.
That's a great personal hook. You remember the Leo who likes Lion chocolate, right?
Yeah.
And then that person becomes linked to the background screening business they represent.
Exactly. Creates a sticky memory. And the humor continued. When Salim later grabbed a Kit Kat and sort of jokingly noted it wasn't his favorite, but it's John's favorite.
Showing he was listening.
Precisely. It demonstrated active, lighthearted listening and connection within the group. This absolutely fulfills their stated goal, to foster relaxed and fun networking similar to a coffee chat. They use this mundane, universally relatable topic, chocolate, to create rapport and make people memorable before the hard pitches started.
So the chocolate conversation was kind of the warm-up act.
Yeah.
The psychological disarmer that maybe made those aggressive pitches more acceptable.
I think that's a fair interpretation. It built a baseline of connection. And even as the meeting drew to a close, we saw the structure holding. Participants were signing off near the end, Susan, Donna, Dan, Jeanette, to meet other commitments, presumably having maximized their time effectively.
Right. They got what they needed and moved on.
But even in those final moments, that human connection payoff was evident. Sarah made a specific final connection right there in the chat, asking Joel about connecting on LinkedIn, or LI as they called it.
So the personal chat facilitated the professional follow-up.
Exactly. The personal connection made the follow-up feel natural and easy.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit and try to synthesize this for you, the listener. We observed a really highly structured meeting format, timed rounds, mandatory asks and gives, absolutely no hiding, juxtaposed immediately and quite dramatically with an extremely relaxed and, frankly, long icebreaker focused entirely on chocolate.
Yeah. The key takeaway for you here is understanding the deliberate tension this structure creates. It's almost a paradox by design. The rigidity is the skeleton of the pitch. It ensures efficiency, it ensures reciprocity through those mandatory asks and gives. But the chocolate, that 12-minute human detour, that's the flesh. It's the necessary trust lubricant, if you will.
A trust lubricant. I like that.
It kind of licenses these aggressive, hyper-specific business propositions being delivered by this global group of experts. You almost needed the human warmth to sell the corporate heat.
It's like a psychological strategy, isn't it? Delivering a massive sales guarantee, like promising $50,000 in monthly sales, right after you've confessed your deep love for a specific flavor of dark chocolate with Earl Grey. It sort of binds the human to the high-impact claim, making the person memorable, even if the proposition itself feels really high pressure.
Precisely. They use the personal detail, however trivial it seems, to anchor the business proposition in your memory. And maybe one final thought for you to mull over as you process this deep dive. The Dynamite group insists on no breakout rooms, everyone meets everyone. Now, considering that intense focus on holistic interaction, making sure every single person is exposed to every single pitch, how might the simple act of being forced to share your favorite chocolate with a highly competitive AIPR expert, a sports psychologist, and an international background screener, how might that actually improve the memorability and maybe the long-term success of the very specific business pitch that followed just minutes later?
The structure forced the pitch, but maybe the chocolate made it stick. Something to think about.